You and Sarah gather your belongings and set off for the scrapyard. You both know it's a dangerous place, but you're determined to find the components needed to fix the water purification system in Vault 49. As you leave the...
Since GPT-4 was launched about a month ago, I've been just playing around with different prompts to make it basically pretend to be a dungeon master for various pen and paper games. I'm not a particular expert at those, but there were a few I wanted to try for a while but never had the chance. So I've been mostly on Reddit, just looking at what other people are doing and just repurposing for whatever I needed it for myself. So it's finally in a state that I think I'd like to share, because I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, without further ado, let's play some Fallout, the role-playing game, pen and paper. It's not gonna be super accurate, but I mean, I would assume it's pretty close. So first, this is credit goes to this Weary brother for 257 for coming up with this pretty good prompt. There's one for GPT 3.5 and there's one for GPT-4. The post is from like 3 months ago, so there hasn't been much engagement since. But and it's for D&D in particular. But I've basically repurposed it and like built upon that to get Fallout running. There's a character generator online that you can use to figure out what you want to play. So you can just create a new character, select character types. Some of them have traits, which you can pick. Just divide your points wherever you like, and select more perks. Divide the points how you want them to. And as soon as that's done, tag your skills, your tag skills as well. And 3 points. Anyway, and once it's done, you will have a character sheet. Unfortunately, you can't copy over, so you have to do it manually. But I've prepared this here already, so I'm just gonna copy all of this up to here. Pop over to ChatGPT. I'm also going to use 11 Labs for the voiceovers and Midjourney to create pretty random images, which are already part of the prompt. So every prompt should basically suggest a Midjourney prompt that goes with the scene. Alright, so let's see how this all goes.
Welcome to the world of Fallout, Paul. You are a vault dweller in Vault 49, located in the ruins of what was once known as Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The current year is 2281, and the world outside the vault has been ravaged by the Great War which occurred over 2 centuries ago. Vault 49 has been your home for your entire life, but today the Overseer has decided to open the vault door for the first time in decades. You stand at the entrance of the vault, the massive door open before you, revealing the unknown world outside. You approach the Overseer, a middle-aged man with a stern expression standing near the vault door. He seems deep in thought, but as you approach, he looks at you and nods. "Ah, Paul," he says, "I'm glad you're here. I have an important task for you. Our vault's water purification system is failing and we're running low on spare parts. I need you to venture into the outside world and find the necessary components to repair the system." He hands you a small holotape with a list of the components and their descriptions. You'll likely find these components in pre-war industrial facilities or military installations. Be careful out there, Paul. The world outside is dangerous, but you must succeed. The future of Vault 49 depends on you. You now have a main quest. Find the components to repair Vault 49's water purification system. You take a deep breath and step outside Vault 49, leaving the familiar comfort of the vault behind. As you exit the tunnel, you find yourself standing in the ruins of Pittsburgh, a city destroyed by war and ravaged by time. The landscape is desolate, with crumbling buildings, rusted cars, and debris littering the streets. The air is thick with dust, and the distant sounds of gunfire echo in the distance. You know the outside world is dangerous, but you must find the components to repair the water purification system and save Vault 49. As you explore the area, you spot a small settlement off in the distance. It appears to be a makeshift town built out of the ruins of an old shopping center. You decide to head towards the settlement, hoping to find some information on where to find the components you need. You walk into the settlement, noticing that despite the harsh environment, the people have managed to create a small but thriving community. As you walk through the makeshift streets, you see people trading goods, children playing, and guards keeping watch. The atmosphere is tense, but there's a sense of resilience in the air. You approach a group of people chatting near a small campfire, hoping they might have some information on the components you're looking for. As you join the conversation, you introduce yourself and explain your quest to find the components needed to repair Vault 49's water purification system. The people listen intently, and after a moment, a woman named Sarah speaks up. I've heard of a place called the Scrapyard a few miles from here. It's a dangerous area, but they say you can find all sorts of pre-war tech there. It might be worth checking out if you're desperate for those components. Thank you, Sarah, for the information, you say gratefully. Would you consider joining me on this journey to the scrapyard? I could use someone with knowledge of the area. Sarah hesitates for a moment, weighing her options. After a brief pause, she nods. All right, I'll join you. I've been looking for a reason to leave this place, and I know how important clean water is. Just promise me we'll be careful out there. You and Sarah gather your belongings and set off for the scrapyard. You both know it's a dangerous place, but you're determined to find the components needed to fix the water purification system in Vault 49. As you leave the settlement, the landscape becomes increasingly barren and inhospitable. The sun beats down on you relentlessly, and the wind picks up, whipping sand and dust into your faces. You and Sarah press on, occasionally stopping to rest and drink from your Vault Tech canteens. After several hours of travel, you come across a desolate stretch of land littered with the rusted remains of pre-war vehicles and machinery. This must be the scrapyard. The place looks like it's been picked clean by scavengers over the years, but there might still be something useful here. You and Sarah begin to search the scrapyard for the components needed to fix the water purification system. You split up to cover more ground, but stay within earshot of each other in case one of you finds something or encounters danger. As you dig through the piles of rusted metal and twisted machinery, you keep your senses sharp, aware that hostile creatures or scavengers could be lurking nearby. Despite the difficulties, your scrounger perk comes in handy, allowing you to spot potentially useful items among the debris. After some time, you come across a partially buried piece of machinery that appears to be part of a water purification system. It's a bit worse for wear, but with a little work, it might be functional. You call Sarah over, and she helps you extract it from the wreckage. Suddenly, you hear a low growl nearby. You and Sarah both tense up, gripping your weapons and scanning the area for the source of the sound. A pack of wild dogs emerges from behind a mound of debris, their eyes locked on you and Sarah. You decide that the best course of action is to eliminate the threat posed by the wild dogs. You raise your 10mm pistol, take aim at the nearest dog, and fire. Your shot hits the dog and it yelps in pain as it's struck by the bullet. Sarah, seeing your decision, also draws her weapon and fires at another dog. Sarah's shot finds its mark, hitting the dog squarely in the chest. The pack of wild dogs snarls and growls, now even more aggressive after being attacked. They charge towards you and Sarah, closing the distance quickly. Feeling remorse for injuring the wild dog, you decide to try to scare the rest of the pack off and help the injured animal. You raise your hands, make yourself appear larger, and shout loudly in an attempt to intimidate the wild dogs. Your sudden display of aggression and loud noise seem to work. The wild dogs halt their charge, and after a moment of hesitation, they begin to retreat, their tails tucked between their legs. Now that the immediate threat is gone, you approach the injured wild dog cautiously. It whimpers and growls, but it doesn't have the strength to move or attack. You speak soothingly and carefully tend to its wounds, using a small part of your Vault-Tec canteen to clean the injury. The wild dog calms down and seems to trust you enough to let you help. You decide to take the injured wild dog with you, hoping that with time and care it may become a loyal companion. The wild dog seems to understand your intentions and, although still weak, tries to follow you as best it can. You, Sarah, and your new canine companion continue your search for the water purification components in the scrapyard. Amidst the piles of metal and rusted machinery, you manage to find the specific components listed on the holotape. With the components in hand and a new companion by your side, you can now decide what to do next. With the water purification components in hand, you decide to head back to Vault 49 to deliver them and complete your main quest. You, Sarah, and your new canine companion make your way back to the vault. The journey takes several hours, and you arrive at the vault entrance just as the sun is setting. Upon returning, you are greeted by the overseer, who is relieved to see you back safe and sound. You hand over the water purification components, and the overseer thanks you for your efforts. With these components, the water supply of Vault 49 will be secured for a long time. Having successfully completed your main quest, you can now decide what to do next. You may wish to continue exploring the wasteland, help the settlement near Vault 49, or take on new quests within the vault. You decide to spend the night in Vault 49 to rest and allow your new canine companion, who you've named Dogmeat, to heal from its injuries. You find a quiet corner in the vault and set up a makeshift bed for Dogmeat. Using your limited medical knowledge, you do your best to treat the dog's wounds and provide it with some comfort. The next morning, after a good night's sleep, you, Sarah, and Dogmeat set out to explore the wasteland and discover new locations and points of interest. You venture further away from Vault 49, keeping an eye out for potential dangers and opportunities. As you travel, you notice several interesting locations in the distance. A partially collapsed pre-war building that appears to have been a library, a seemingly deserted military outpost with a few intact structures, a cave entrance hidden among the rocky hills, an old broken-down gas station that could have useful supplies, a radio tower emitting a faint signal.
Alright, I think this is where I'm gonna end with this one. First of all, I genuinely regret shooting the dog. And second, it's starting to do some weird stuff. So it's like, this should be gone from the inventory, for example. We could tell it, just grab records to remove that, and it would do it. But I'm probably gonna start a new one. I didn't really like the direction this was going. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.